Hello, one and all. Welcome back to ArcheAge Inspiration. Hey, there's my face. Today's rolls are 1, 5, and 7. So let's see what we get. That looks like we'll get Battle Rage, Songcraft, and Oromancy. So that will be a Herald. Alright, I decided to do something pretty fun with the Herald. I built this character sort of as a buff support. Basically the Bard type build. You know, you have Quick Step, Ode to Recovery, Bloody Shanty, Bulwark Ballad, but with a few extra little twists to it. First, to get the basics out of the way, we of course have Startling Strain, great crowd control, 2-second stun, also inflicts debuffs that your songs will affect on the target that you have Startling Strained. We have Hold the Note and Loudspeaker to make your songs more effective. Always important. And because the class is called a Herald, I think it would be kind of silly not to take Alarm Call. It's not a super great ability. It does have some usage, of course, as a counter-initiation tool. If somebody comes in and does a massive stun or sleep on your allies in some way, you can always use Alarm Call to remove all those debuffs, which is nice because sleeps especially can be one of the longest duration debuffs there is. Speaking of debuffs, of course, we have Leech available to us as an emergency crowd control for anybody who gets close to us. One of the interesting things between Oromancy and Battle Rage is a lot of mitigation options here. For one, Bondbreaker not only removes and prevents some of the nastiest crowd control that's available, but it also makes you take less physical and physical damage from both melee and range by 50%. Quite nice. Similarly, we have Conversion Shield, which gives a 42% effective magic damage reduction for 8 seconds. Shrug It Off, of course, provides a 4-second stun and impale immunity while also giving you a 50% decrease in magic damage. And this build is actually it's kind of silly, but I've actually decided to take Frenzy as a mitigation element / a slight damage boost. Through previous testing, I actually know that Frenzy, as we've discussed in many other videos, will, of course, absorb 21% of all received magic damage, which is very powerful. But the attack boost for magic and melee both occur every time you take damage, and the reduction in your physical defense only occurs whenever you deal damage. Now, the difference here is that the damage, the physical defense reduction only triggers if it's like sort of direct damage. A few videos ago I showed off some interesting things with Firewall and a few other abilities that essentially count as damage over time and don't really trigger this sort of thing, and it sort of turns out that Frenzy works the same way with this as well. So if you build up Frenzy stacks and then only deal damage to something indirect, like say Ode to Recovery's damage portion, you actually won't incur the physical defense reduction, which is it's pretty out there. A few other things that I tested for this build: if you do take battle focus and have a focus on parry, if you dual wield and you're singing, you can still parry while you're playing your instrument. So you know, no reason not to take dual wield proficiency and go ahead and dual wield with this build. You could go one-hander and shield and forsake this stuff if you really wanted to. You know, it's kind of your choice. I decided to take Terrifying Roar here as well, just for the decreased duration of crowd control on yourself for a certain amount of time. If you feel like you're going to be focused heavily, it may provide an extra benefit here. One of the problems, of course, is that you're going to have to be constantly reapplying your songs while you're doing all of these things, because anytime you activate one of your crowd control immunities, or you know, even blink or anything, you're going to end up incurring, you know, basically a drop of all of your songs. But it's not really that big of a deal. I would advise using Bloody Shanty first. It tends to be the most powerful one. And I believe the attack speed bonus that you get reduces the cooldown, so you can play the other 3 songs more quickly. Other notes here just include a few defensive passives: Disciplined Performance, which you will trigger on yourself with Ode to Recovery, by the way, decreasing magic damage minus 30% for 3 seconds after receiving a magic critical hit. Likewise, we have Inspiration Cloak, decreasing all damage by 100 for 3 seconds after receiving critical damage. And then, of course, Unassailable as well, granting a 1% chance to become invincible for 2 seconds every once in a while. So a bevy of defensive options. Most of them are temporary, granted, but you know, a lot of PvP fights can be decided very quickly, especially when they have a bard supplementing them with the songs from Songcraft. Bloody Shanty, Bulwark Ballad, both very, very powerful things that can sway the tide of battle very quickly. You'll have extra maneuverability, of course, by using Quick Step at all times. I would almost recommend using this song second in your rotation of songs, just because of that. And overall, just kind of an interesting and fun build. Nothing really to show as far as combos go. Just, normal stuff. Charm somebody with Startling Strain. Use your attack songs there, and you'll be in good shape. So that's all I have to say about the Herald. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.